Mr. Kessler, Steve O'Brien from Channel 13. Has there been any conversation with students during your application process that reaffirms your reasoning for
Right.
running for president?
Right. You know, let's make no mistake about it. This is about the students. That's why we're here. And I had a meeting yesterday with, let's say, 14 student leaders, part of the student government. And that's really where, for me, that's really what the emphasis is. I said to them, what do you want to see? What's important to you? What are the things that are missing at MCC? You know, you hear some very interesting things from students. Well, it's very hard to get from the Brighton campus to the Damon campus. Oh, well, you know, that's not very complex. The U of R has a bus. You show your campus ID and you hop on the bus. It's a no-charge bus. Why don't we? Really? We don't have that. Well, if there's enough cross-pollination of the disciplines and that there is that, we should have that for them. Well, the food services, but I said, that's something I know about. And I think I can help with that, especially at the Damon campus of food services is an issue. Meeting with the students was always heartwarming, and because you also want to know, they're the consumer. They are our consumer. They're our customer. That's who I want to serve. That's who I want to make happy. Of course, the faculty and staff are a critical component of that. But this is about the students. This is about student success. Their success is our collective success as a community.
What kind of questions did the faculty have for you in the meetings? Anything that sticks out in particular?
The faculty were concerned collectively about things like, I would say there was questions related to political interference. There were, I would say, more general academic questions of governance, of administration. And I'd like to say what I thought perhaps at the beginning of the meeting was perhaps a bit of skepticism. At the end of the meeting, I would say, and of course I don't know, but the sense that I got was that it was, I think I was very well received and won a lot of people over by my sincerity in how I got to where I am today in the submission of the application process.
Just to come back and finish that, in terms of the increased, in terms of the increased complexity here, I wasn't clear on what kinds of ideas you had around tackling those added layers of complexity compared with MCC. Because one of the things I've heard repeatedly is you know, absolutely, clearly you were in line for that job. But this is a different ballgame. So I just wondered what you would think about, okay, yeah, it's definitely a lot of things more complicated.
Well, I was in line for the job, and they offered me a contract, and then we negotiated the contract. I signed the contract, and then I received a one-sentence letter that's saying they changed their mind. That's history for me. And so, what would I do differently?
Yeah, I guess because.
Well, when I get the contract, I'm going to sign. That's one of the things I'm going to do differently. See, my.
Is the job different here, and are you up to MCC given how much bigger and more?
Oh, positively.
Yeah.
Am I up for it? Positively. Yeah. I see this as really as a mission for me, and very much so. You know, the educational sphere is not new to me. I've been teaching for many years. I've not been in a administrative capacity, but this isn't new to me. Dealing in a collaborative fashion with faculty to get the job done, with unions, in collective bargaining. These are things that I have had experience with. My experience as the Commissioner of Civil Service for the City of Rochester and the Chairman of the Civil Service Commission for a number of years now are, I think, have given me the requisite skills to deal with an organization of this size.
Do you see some possibilities possibly untapped here in terms of philanthropy?
I have to tell you that philanthropy is a huge piece of this. It's a huge piece, and the old formula of a third of the budget coming from the state, a third from the county, and a third from tuition revenue streams is not working anymore. It doesn't. It's not. It hasn't worked, and so the gap has to be filled by the very generous citizens of our community who have in the past stepped forward for MCC and other institutions. In fact, I authored a document called Building on Success, taking Monroe Community College to the next level of excellence. And I have a chapter on philanthropy. And philanthropy has to be considered as part of the normal budgetary process, because there's a shortfall, there's a gap. We just can't tell the students we don't have, we're not having these courses. We have to fulfill our mission. And we have a number of what I think are very creative opportunities in the philanthropy section of this text that I've authored.
What would be some possibilities there?
Some new curriculum, that could be named, some chairs that could, endowed chairs. You know, I hold an endowed chair at the Simon School, which is the result of a very generous benefactor to the school. And so I understand how that works, and soliciting people for endowment opportunities, naming opportunities. Our community is replete with that history of giving, and so that has to be a very important part of what we do here. The MCC Foundation has done a wonderful job laying that groundwork, but more needs to be done.